Hi, welcome back to Inner Peace Place. This is lesson number 16. It's titled Change What You Create. We have different ways of making decisions in our lives. We can base it in the past through the personality self. We can base our decisions in this present moment as we're connected to our higher self or soul self, or a myriad of other ways that you can name a power that's higher than you are or I am. So when you want to change what you create, I'm thinking more life changes, not creating a ball, nothing like that. I'm talking about path, your life path. We want to look and see, is what our life path needs, is it a global change? Is it a large part of our life, our current life? Or is it a specific thing that we want to change about ourselves? You can pick anything and change it. The trick is not picking something too big when you're a baby. So pick something small and look at it. Understand that you lovingly created it the way it is. Understand that it wasn't just shoved into your life. Because when you create something, you bring in something that was shoved into your life. So let's say something did happen to you that was horrible, which it happens a lot. So something horrible has happened to you, which has colored your world. And you have decided now that you want to change the way you're creating your life starting today. Not yesterday, not years ago, today. What it requires is focus. Focus or thought energy on what you do want to shift about your life. By putting thought energy into the area of your life that you want to create, you're starting a little bit of vibration in it. And it's little because it's a baby. You're coming out of a depression, or you want to come out of a depression, or low energy, or you're just in a place that I am going to make my life joyful. And pick your poison. Pick the small areas that you can play with and have that great feeling of success, because that will feed your love bucket. It will motivate you. It will get your personality self on board with this new adventure that you're on. Like a gardener. They don't just put the seeds in the dirt and walk away forever. No, they come back and they watch them because it's fun. They water them. They make sure they're getting enough sun. So in other words, the attention, the thought energy is assisting those plants, your plants. Now, I'm not saying that every bush and piece of blade of grass has to have thought energy of someone with it. I'm just saying when you created your garden, you created it. You're responsible for it. You embellished the types of flowers that you like. You gave them fertilizer. You were proactive in making sure they bloomed by giving them the fertilizer. You were proactive in helping them be all they could be by watering them on a schedule that was good for that particular plant. So you gave a focus to this garden. You created the garden, and the garden took time. Many people just want a different life, and they don't realize that there's already a momentum of energy in their life that may be flowing in a way that isn't what they want today. And so just like a person in a boat with a paddle, If you paddle downstream, it's really easy. If you want to go to the edge of the river, left or right, you can do that with just a little bit more work, but not a whole bunch. But to turn around and go upstream in the boat with a paddle is very difficult, not impossible. It demands continual attention if you're going to swim upstream or paddle upstream. You can't intermittently give it your attention, because as soon as you stop focusing on paddling or swimming, you immediately go with the flow downstream. And this is really, really similar. We want to look at that part of our life, our tiny little spot that we picked, and replace the thoughts about it with a positive flowing energy. By looking at your path and redirecting it slightly, you are creating something different. And as a person who creates and influences in an upward flowing manner, the possibilities are endless. You're not locked into a mold as a human. Your circumstances, your personal thoughts are what lock you in. Your circumstances could possibly be changed, but your thoughts are very fluid, and your thoughts about your circumstances could be changed. So don't feel that you're stuck in this. You can create moment to moment a lifestyle that brings you the joy that you never thought you could have, or that you didn't think you deserved. Many of us were taught that we wouldn't be anything in our lives, or that we didn't deserve X, or that we shouldn't even go there. Well, I'm saying the universe has given you permission to think outside the box, to change what you've already been creating. So you've been creating up to now, even though you didn't realize it, or you may not have realized it. And now you can say, I'm choosing to shift this part of my life, the energy flow. I'm going to continue paddling, but I'm going to nudge it slightly, ever so slightly, until that becomes my new thought, my new habit. And then if it still isn't as far as I wanted to go with it, I'll nudge it a little bit more. Step by step by baby step, day in and day out. It isn't drudgery, though. It isn't something that you're being forced to do. But it is something that requires a loving, gentle nudge so that you can maintain the enthusiasm and the desires that lead to a more thorough change in your habits. It's all about our attitude and what we think of ourselves, and how we say, I'm tired of that. I'm tired of trying to stop my thinking and shift over to that. And you can say that, fine. I'm good with that. But then if you want a peace-filled life, you kind of sit there and waller for a little bit, and you go, okay, I'm finished. And you get up and you start working on it again. And by working, I mean observation. Observe what you're doing, when you do it, when do you think like that, when do you feel a certain way, what's going on in your life, where are the energies flowing. Just observe and say, wow, that's something I didn't even realize. I just didn't know I did that. That's good. Even if it's a terrible thing, it's good. It's good that you realized it, because nobody else can realize it for you. You have decided you want to change. And so changing the thing that has the most power behind it isn't where we want to go, the most flow behind it. We want to nitpick Just pick a little bit of that negativity out and let it flow away. Let it become part of the universal upward flowing energies, so that when I create day in and day out, when I look at what are my plans for today, I want to joyfully do the dishes and maybe mop the floor. So I put some music on. I want to joyfully go out and vacuum the car. So I hum a little song, since I can't hear the music because, in other words, I'm creating an environment around me that brings me joy, so that it's easier for me to maintain an awareness of my connection. There are times when I have trouble. I'm sure all of us do. And again, I give myself permission. Some days I'm just grumpy. Don't know why. I just woke up on the wrong side of the bed. And so I'm being grumpy, whatever that means at the moment. And all of a sudden I realize, oh, I'm being grumpy. I didn't even know I was being grumpy. And then I go, oh, but I want to be grumpy. Okay, be grumpy. And when I'm finished pouting or being grumpy or whatever it is, I go, okay, now I'm ready to get back on the horse and ride away into joy. Now, it isn't easy. I'm not saying any of this work is easy, but it is doable. And the reason it's doable is because when I am grumpy and I'm ready, I ask for assistance. I call on my guides and higher self and the Holy Spirit, whatever you want to call it, and say, okay, I'm ready. Infuse me. And it works. It helps me create a life of joy and not focus on the past energies I've already created. I want to learn about why I'm the way I am and why I create what I create. And I do that through observation without judgment. I think we've all been taught to observe and judge. I mean, it just kind of went together. And I'm saying observe without judgment. As an innocent observer, you're just watching. Oh, this is what I always do. Interesting. Then when you start to do it again, you go, oh yeah, I remember. I realized that I always do that. You may still do it, but at least you're in a state of observation while you're still doing the thing you don't want to do anymore. And from there, change occurs. Change is necessary part of the creation, the part of the peaceful heart that you want, the peace-filled life. You need to change some of the baby habits that we have so that we can actually be aware of what's going on around us that has a good flow. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this resonated with you. Love and light to you and your path. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.